Hello everyone, my name is Tori Fromm and I will be presenting on Walt Whitman's Whoever You Are, Holding Me Now in Hand. So Walt Whitman, a brief overview. He was an American poet, born May 31st, 1819 and died March 22nd, 1892. He left school at age 11 to work. He's often called the father of free verse, and his best known work is Leaves of Grass. Leaves of Grass is a poetry collection by Whitman. The first edition was published in 1855. However, Whitman spent most of his professional life writing and rewriting Leaves of Grass, revising it multiple times until his death. Some of Whitman's best-known poems, not all of them are in Leaves of Grass, but here are a few. Oh Captain, My Captain, which some of you may recognize from the movie Dead Poets Society. Oh Pioneers, A Noiseless Patient Spider, I Sing the Body Electric, and Song of Myself. So here is the poem that I am presenting on. And I read it in my poetry forum, but I will read it again for you guys now. Whoever you are holding me now in hand, without one thing all will be useless. I give you fair warning before you attempt me further. I am not what you supposed, but far different. Who is he that would become my follower? Who would sign himself a candidate for my affections? The way is suspicious, the result uncertain, perhaps destructive. You would have to give up all else. I alone would expect to be your sole and exclusive standard. Your novitiate would even then be long and exhausting. The whole past theory of your life and all conformity to the lives around you would have to be abandoned. Therefore, release me now before troubling yourself any further. Let go your hand from my shoulders. Put me down and depart on your way. Or else by stealth in some wood for trial, or back of a rock in the open air. For in any roofed home of a house I emerge not, nor in company. And in libraries I lie as one dumb, agawk, or unborn, or dead. But just possibly, with you on a high hill, first watching lest any person for miles around approach unawares. Or possibly with you sailing at sea, or on the beach of the sea, or some quiet island. Here to put your lips upon mine I permit you, with a comrade's long-dwelling kiss, or the new husband's kiss. For I am the new husband, and I am the comrade. Or if you will, thrusting me beneath your clothing, where I may feel the throbs of your heart or rest upon your hip. Carry me when you go forth over land or sea, for thus merely touching you is enough, is best. And thus touching you, I would silently sleep and be carried eternally. But these leaves conning you con at peril. For these leaves and me you will not understand. They will elude you at first, and still more afterward. I will certainly elude you. Even while you should think that you had unquestionably caught me, behold, already you see I have escaped from you. For it is not what I have put into it that I have written this book, nor is it by reading it you will acquire it. Nor do those know me best who admire me and vauntingly praise me. Nor will the candidates for my love, unless at most a very few, prove victorious. Nor will my poems do good only. They will do just as much evil, and perhaps more. For all is useless without that which you may guess at many times and not hit, that which I hinted at. Therefore release me, and depart on your way. So the things I kind of want to talk about in this poem, we'll start with the first point. I see so much of myself in this poem. The speaker in the poem talks to the reader, the lover, whoever this poem is meant for, um, and says basically, just so you know, this is what you're getting yourself into. Um, this is how I behave, this is how I act, this is how I think. Um, it's scared people away, so here's my warning label for you. Um, and I can kind of see myself in that. I think we all have moments where we're like, man, no one can handle me. But for me, it's sort of different. I see myself in it as um, something that is different. Um, the speaker implies that you think you understand me, but in fact you don't. And um, what I see in the poem and in myself is the attitude that there's no one else like me. And I think we all have that attitude at sometimes in our life, that there is no one like me. Now, whether you take that as a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to you. Um, some people take that as a really great thing, and other people just would rather blend in and not be something different. So that's kind of up to you. In the poem, there's a very self-aware tone within the speaker's voice. Um, the speaker, like I said earlier, many times offers explanation for their behavior or offers, like I said, a warning label. And not many of us could do that. If if someone were to come up to me and say, I need to know 5 things about you that without knowing, I wouldn't know you at all. And that would be so tough to come up with. But the self-aware tone of this speaker, it um let me tell you, I am difficult to deal with, so depart while you can. Um, but if you stay, um, we can find peace in each other, and your touch will be enough. I won't require any more of you. So a very self-aware speaker in this poem. Another thing I want to emphasize is that it's so much more than a love poem. It's not, uh, oh, I'm in love with you, but I'm not worthy of you, so depart on your way. That's not what it is. It's, um, here I am, and if you'll have me, take me, but if you won't have me, put me down. It doesn't make any difference to me. Um, there's there's an opportunity for a mutual affection that's not forced. That's not, oh, I'm in love with you, so you should be in love with me. It's um, a mutual love that's, if you choose me, I'll choose you. And I think that that's what makes this poem special, more special than a lot of other love poems. The speaker has a very wild but controlled voice. And I mean, if you look at Walt Whitman, he is the personification of this poem. First, you look at that wild, crazy beard, and you think, gosh, this guy can't possibly know anything. But then you kind of look at what he's wearing and you look at the wisdom in his eyes and you see, wow, um, this guy has probably knows a lot of things that I should maybe pay attention to. And that's the voice of the speaker in this poem. Is the, I'm wild and I can't be controlled, but I am self-aware. I know why I do things. I understand the world and I understand how it works, but I'm not going to um, comply to those restraints. And then finally, the last point I would like to make is the beauty and the order out of chaos. This is something we talk about a lot in my theater classes, that actors and God and whatever you want to say, we create beauty out of chaos. We um, take a bunch of wood, some people who know some lines, and a few random props, and we create an entire show out of that chaos. And this poem has that same exact thing. Uh, it's it talks about how wild and untamable the speaker is, but then for a moment in the middle of the poem, it slows down and it shifts its focus. And we begin to see that the poem is about presenting yourself to friends, lovers, family, whoever, presenting yourself to them and accepting who you are so they can accept who you are and accepting who they are. And um, it creates order and beauty out of something that was so chaotic and so confusing. Um, it's really beautiful. It really is. So I think that's all I have to say about Walt and this poem. I highly recommend really all of his poetry. Leaves of Grass is a really great read. So if you're curious about more, give it a read. Thanks, guys.